What's up, guys? My name is Matt, and I run a fitness automation agency where we build scaling systems that create digital leverage for online coaches. And this is the first edition of Friday Growth Files, which is a tongue twister. I didn't think about that before I named it, where I'm going to be going over what I'm doing in my business, how I am looking to scale it, and the current problems that I'm facing. The reason I'm creating this is a bit of a journal, but also I think it would have been really beneficial to see this kind of information when I was starting out. Would have helped me a lot and helped me get out of my head a little bit. So I'm currently running a lifestyle business. So what a lifestyle business in my definition is that it doesn't run me, and I'm able to stop and play golf during the day. I'm able to go to the gym whenever I want. I'm able to take the morning off with my wife. I'm able to take the day off with my wife, and all hell doesn't break loose. So for me, lifestyle business is pretty damn cool because I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. Now, you kind of can't do a lifestyle business from the jump. You need to kind of put the effort in, and that's what I've been doing over the last 2 to 3 years. However, now I'm at the point where I can, be a little bit more picky with who I work with and allow myself a bit more freedom. So I'm going to go through the current state of the business, where I'm sitting, where I feel like I'm doing really well, and also where I'm kind of falling short. So right now, revenue is between 12 and 20K per month. It's not consistent. It's on the higher side of that for the past 3 months or so. Late last year, it was up to like 45K a month, which is really cool. However, not sustainable in the amount of time that I was working. So there was like 3 months last year, the end of the year, where I was doing really high numbers. However, I was working like 15 hours a day, and I was just committing to more work than I could take on, and it kind of burnt me to a crisp. So now I've pulled that back intentionally so I can spend more time with my wife, spend more time playing golf, spend more time with the dogs who are asleep right next to me. And what I'm doing is building more systems around the business so I don't have to work as hard to make that amount of money, which might sound a little bit arrogant, but that's not how I want it to be perceived. I think it's actually really achievable. If you have the right systems that deliver really good value, you can make a lot of money. So I'm working with about 10 clients right now on a reoccurring basis. So that's monthly retainers. That's just like one-off project work that's happening pretty consistently. There's no real rhyme or reason to the clients that I'm working with. That 10 is a conservative number. It's actually probably more like 15, but I'm only counting people who I work with every single month, and it lets me set up like quite a solid baseline. So I'm running that fitness automation agency, helping. It's actually not gym owners anymore, and it's just online coaches. So I'm not working with as many gyms. Online coaches automate the business process, right? So right now, the biggest problem that I have is productizing my service. Now, productization is to the point where your service becomes so repeatable that you could sell it as a product, right? And for me, right now, everything is custom. So for my consulting clients, I meet with them every week. We discuss their business, and I suggest changes based on the problems that they're currently having. This work is fine. I love this work. It's really impactful, and it has a lot of higher ROI for the business owners who are in that setup. However, the way that people enter my business is that they come in usually through a CRM build. So I do these CRM builds that have like a onboarding process. They have lead management, client booking, all of that kind of good stuff, where I build the front end of someone's business. And that usually costs around $4,500, and it can range up to like $8,000. So it really depends on the size of the business. But what I'm looking at productizing is that. So the CRM build, the onboarding hub, the lead management, and client booking is what I'm trying to build into something that is so repeatable that I could either delegate it or I can have it, 90% automated and take me less time than it takes now to do. So right now, that build takes me about 3 weeks front to back because one thing that people don't talk about a lot is actually people using that system. So a lot of the time actually goes to training. So what I'm doing to focus on improving that is building out training material that I can actually deliver to people that actually helps them, because a lot of the training material that I've done in the past doesn't actually improve the person's business. Improve their understanding of their new business. It just kind of confuses them. So what I'm looking at is improving that. And what happens when I take on these businesses is, because businesses are slightly different, when I'm selling this CRM like build, I'm kind of starting fresh with every client. And although like that can't kind of be avoided, because some businesses are pretty, set in stone, and that they have processes and whatever, I want to kind of deliver what I deliver and they mold to that rather than me mold to them. I can deliver a better service if I do that, and I know that for a fact. So I'm working on creating standardized packages that can be implemented more efficiently and more effectively to get people up and running. So the goal is to have like clear products with defined deliverables every single time, instead of just pricing everything custom and being really like reactive to people's businesses, rather than being just delivering what I think is what they think is best, which is most of the time not the case. Cool. So moving on, lead generation improvement. I've been working on YouTube for a long time. I have a pretty good cadence with YouTube where I'm making like at least 3 videos a week. Those videos take me about half an hour, which is insane. People think that these videos, take a lot longer than they do. I'm really happy with that. I would like to get down to daily videos. So 5 videos a week, because I only work 5 days a week. And if I'm only doing 4 days that week, then 4 videos. That's fine. I'm not too stressed about it. However, the lead volume from YouTube is a little bit sporadic because I'm super niche down. I get 100 views on a video, which is fine. That's most of the time fitness businesses. So for me, it's actually really good. But the lead volume, in my opinion, to scale up to consistent 30K a month may not be enough in its current standpoint. So my philosophy in this is everything on YouTube compounds. I've just hit over, I think I'm at like 100, I think this is my 116th video. So I've made a lot of videos, and if you land on my page, you're like, oh, this is the fitness automation guy. However, getting people to land on the page is a little bit difficult because my videos don't necessarily get pushed to the masses. They just get pushed to, I think, the same people consistently. So for me, I want to expand my reach, and I want to expand the ability of people to come in and see my YouTube videos. So I'm not going to try and rely on YouTube's algorithm. I'm going to try on relying on other things. So the way that I'm looking at doing that is through X. I think Twitter is a really good asset to grow a personal brand. And it's one of those things, one of those platforms that the time invested into it compounds. So unlike Instagram or TikTok, for example, where people ingest your content in about 30 seconds, if that, and they never see it again, or they follow you and they see it when you sporadically post, I feel like X and YouTube are a better compounding asset. Whereas, like, for example, on YouTube, if I find someone who is really fascinating about what they do, I'll go and binge watch an hour and a half of their content, which if I binge watch an hour and a half of their content and they sell something like a service, most of the time I'll end up buying that service. In TikTok, for example, I don't have the same kind of approach. I'll see a TikTok and I'll go, that was entertaining. Like, I learned something, but I won't go and open up their TikToks and watch all 10 of their TikToks. Or all 15 of their TikToks. Even then, if I watch 20 videos of theirs, all usually under a minute long, like, I can't take action from that. It's not good from a business point of view. So I'm not shitting on TikTok and Instagram, but I just don't think it's the best compounding content asset out there. So for me, I'm working on X, which I'm using this tool called Postbridge. I haven't decided if I'm going to share my screen in this video or not. But Postbridge, it's a scheduling tool built by a guy on Twitter that I found through Twitter. And basically it just lets you write tweets and then schedule them across the week. I think it's actually really good so far. I've just started using it. It's cheap. It's like $9 a month. So that's pretty cool. And I'm not seeing any growth in that just yet. So again, it takes time. I'm not afraid to play the long game with X. I'm also not afraid to play the long game with YouTube. I've been playing the long game with YouTube for a long time. And I think that if you stick at something for long enough and you improve, it's only a matter of time before success comes your way. And I've proven that to myself time after time after time, especially with YouTube. So yeah, the content strategy to attract more qualified leads that I'm going through with YouTube is creating content around the following 3 things. I've got my little wet note here, which is 3 types of YouTube posts: how my client did X, watch me fix X, and watch me build X. So what I mean by that is what my client did to achieve 50K a month, or watch me fix this in my client's business, or watch me build this system or tool. Right now, it's going quite well. I enjoy making those kind of videos, so I'm seeing good growth from it. And I'm testing what kind of those videos do the best with my audience. So I'm looking to see what that kind of leads to. So that's lead generation, and then scaling ops. So operation. This is so funny. I don't know if I've ever actually talked about this on this channel, but my business is a heavily manual operations business. Because everything is so custom, which is hilarious, because you would think an automation agency has a lot more automation. However, as I get better at building systems, like I've been building systems for years, but as I get better in understanding my own business, I am getting better at understanding how I can build systems around that. So I'm developing SOPs for client delivery and like improving that. And creating templates. So creating my own templates to help myself rather than hinder myself. However, I do encounter challenges. I am a bit of a perfectionist. I often get in my own head with in my ideas rather than just shipping things and just like getting on with it. So things that I'm doing to overcome perfectionism, I have started journaling, writing down. This is going to sound lame, but writing down like positive, like compliments about myself, saying that like I do a really good job, and feedback isn't a personal attack and all that kind of thing. So I'm working on my perfectionism, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because perfectionism pushes you to not start something, but then when you do it, for me at least, I find that I'll push it and I'll push it and I'll push it, and it gets closer to a deadline, and I end up rushing it, and it's not good anyway. So what I've been really working on in the last 6 months really is digesting work in smaller bite-sized chunks. The way that I've done that is through a timer. So instead of doing like massive deep work block on one task or one build, and where I do like 4 or 5 hours straight, I'm seeing what I can accomplish in 30 minutes per block. So I've been breaking down things significantly further. What this has done has gamified the 30 minutes. So instead of being rushed to complete work, I'm seeing how much I can achieve in 30 minutes of quality work. Because the new deadline isn't the delivery date, it's the time-based block that I'm putting on the work, I'm seeing that I am finding better quality work come of that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. And with that, one of the challenges I've been facing recently is trying to make time for the content creation that I do whilst delivering client work. So what would happen in the past is I would, sell a large project, and I would go all hands on deck for that project for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And I would forget to make YouTube videos, or I just wouldn't have time, or I just downgraded the value of YouTube in my mind. And one thing that I've been doing really well is every morning, the first thing I do is just film a video. It just doesn't matter what I'm working on, 30 minutes, according to Parkinson's law, which is the time will expand or shrink to, the task will expand or shrink to the amount of time that you allot to it. It goes two ways. The YouTube video will become 30-minute task if I give it 30 minutes, or the build work will become, an 8.5-hour task instead of a 9-hour task, depending on how much time I allot to it. So for me, that's working incredibly well in terms of delivering my content. And so to wrap up, really, my goals are, that 30K a month revenue. I wanted to hit it in the first 6 months of this year. So I think I've got, April, January, February, March, April. So we're 4 months in. I've increased, I've kind of gone up and down, but the consistency is the hard part. So hopefully in the next 3 months I can improve that. And another goal I haven't even mentioned yet is building YouTube to 10K followers. I think that's a cool goal. It's a vanity metric, but I've been around the 3,000 to 4,000 mark for, probably a year. Because when I pivoted just to start making fitness-based content and not automation agency content, it created a slower growth, but a more specialized growth. And one thing that I kind of wish I did from the start was not focus too much on the automation agency side of things and focus more on the fitness side of things. I reckon it would have been better, but you can't change the past. I learned a lot from it. And in the future, we can only progress. So I hope you guys found this valuable. If you made it this far, then congratulations. I think Growth Friday, Friday growth files might be a regular thing. And being vulnerable has always led to positive outcomes for me. And I've been vulnerable in sharing this. I think, just to recap, there's nothing wrong with having a lifestyle business. Not every business needs to be driven to this insane point of growth. And I think the point of business is to free up time. And, I'd rather not make as much money and have more time on my hands than selling my soul and earning, 50, 60 grand a month or whatever. So I hope that was enjoyable. I'll speak to you guys again soon.